Hello, good day, and welcome to Lee Valley, the Whitewater Centre, just outside London, for World Cup 1 ICF Slalom 2019. Today is semi-finals day, followed by the finals. We're going to be with you all day, so sit back, enjoy yourself. Most of you will have your favourite athletes. We're going to be running them the semi-final of the men's C1 first. That's 30 athletes, and then we have a couple of minutes break and on to the K1 women. The graphics we've updated, more information coming through, so make sure you look closely at your screen to see what is behind all this action. The course, we'll talk you through it. It's the classic course, 16 degrees, so it's a lot better than the last couple of days. A bit of a wind, which a couple of hours ago was nothing. It's starting to build up again, but I walked the course 15 minutes ago, and as you see, the poles are not really swinging that much. Ideally, we have someone who goes on this course every single day of the year to talk us through it. Gabby Rich, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
And you're the person I've chosen. So we're going to go through it together. As you can see, classically, we have the 6 upstream gates. They're there to set and to challenge you. If you haven't seen this sport before, canoes, kneeling single blade, down through the green and whites, up through the red and whites. It's against the clock and 1 to go. So the conditions this morning are going to be fair, and we believe it's going to be consistent-ish for everyone. These are the athletes we're going to see starting. They obviously go one at a time. There was a big start list. I mean, 52 started yesterday. Some went through the top 20. Jean-Pierre Bourges from Senegal, he was the 20th. Absolutely delighted in the first run. 10 other athletes had to go in a bit of a lottery in the second run, but here they are. In theory, the top 4 athletes are going last. And yes, we have Martin Thomas, who's flying for France at the moment. David Florence, it's his course. I think he owns most of it, so he's going to be fine. And then the big names that we're going to be watching in about an hour and some's time. Gabby, the course, give me a few details of what you think about the course.
I think we've got a few good classic moves in today's course, which will be, I suppose it will suit some of the home paddlers, but also it'll be good to see how it challenges some of the foreign paddlers as well.
Well, we have Igor to start with. He's seen a couple of the 3 forerunners go down 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
The course was set up last night, so no one's actually been down it of an athlete, and there is about 230 metres. I understand there's about 18 cubic metres a second going down this really, really interesting course that was completed, end of 2009, 2010, has been used since millions of times by you, the athletes, for London Olympics, then 2014 World Cup, 2015 Worlds, I suppose is the major reference, and this is the first time we're having a World Cup since then. So we are watching Igor going down. What are your first thoughts?
Well, Igor himself's putting down quite a good solid run so far. Like I say, it's got some, I'd say there's some challenging moves in there, but overall, I mean, I definitely see harder courses.
For someone who goes down,
it's definitely a race course
every day.
Sure.
It's manageable. There's no killer moves, are there?
Definitely. But no, it's good to see a good open course for racing. It's definitely going to mean there's going to be fast times put down today, which will be exciting to see later on. But awesome. There's nothing to say there won't be some challenges for the athletes too.
So 20 has actually stepped quite up in the eddy there. So that's the challenge there is drifting down, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely one of those ones. It's quite a difficult kill move where if you don't have quite enough angle on there, it's quite easily gets swept down to the bottom of the eddy. So
let's see what our first reference time. We saw a 2-second penalty. These are penalties that automatically added on. There's a huge, mainly volunteer staff who are extremely experienced, often parents and friends of racers and ex-racers themselves who give up their time to come and do it. There's not only human judgment, there's also 15 staff who are working in the little tent, which is to do with timing and reruns, and hopefully we'll do a feature on that some other time. Liam Ejegu from Ireland, I saw him at about 7:45, just warming up on the course. Obviously a very fiery athlete. Let's see how he goes down. It's quite a long run to the first, isn't it?
It is. It's quite an open start and finish for the course today, which is quite nice sometimes when you can just get the boat up and running before you get to the gates. Sometimes it can be quite tricky if they set a tight sequence to start. So yeah, it's quite nice.
So second upstream, under the bridge. Any challenges here?
Again, like there's quite a few water features being used. Liam used that wave nicely under the bridge there. And yeah, again here, quite a tricky little stagger under the bridge there, because if you come out a bit too wide, you can slide out quite a bit. And using that second wave to go into the third upstream on the left there.
I'm hearing from all athletes from all over the world that the water's really consistent, which they
It is.
appreciate so much.
Yeah, it's a really good course to train on, because and like I say, when you get, it's one of those courses that once you nail a move, you can pretty much guarantee you can get it quite consistently over and over. Still sets the challenge of there's still some really difficult moves to do on the course.
The stagger move there's 15-20 seconds of 5 gates. That you don't underestimate that, do you?
No, most certainly not. And again, you've got that little wave in the middle, which certainly does trip you up quite often. Quite nice.
So in the middle, why there's not thousands of people? Because that's where the people with special accreditations and life buoys go, mainly coaches and follow athletes who are either cheering down, or this time of the day they're looking to have a bit of an advantage so they can see and make up their own mind.
Yeah, indeed. Doing a few course walks, making the final decisions on the courses, trying to get the tactics down, as well as seeing where they can open up and put a bit of speed down, where they need to take the speed off maybe, and aim to get the lines right on the course.
It's one of the dynasty families, the Valdez, with 2 brothers, great athletes, father, great blogger. Let's see how he goes down today.
Again, this nice little keel move at the top. All of the paddlers seem to be doing all right with it this morning. Very nice there.
The Valdez have a lot of strength, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Powerful athletes.
Very strong paddlers. Zeno was paddling yesterday as well in the qualifications in K1. 2 brothers. Nice.
He's on the first slit.
Yeah,
yes, just 0.4 of a second. 0.4 of a second up.
I wonder if they'll be taking this forwards in the C1 category. It'd be quite nice for a lefty move, but slipping a bit off the wave there, but holding it and keeping the boat running, which is the main thing.
There's no second chance. 30 athletes and only 10 go through. What's crucial here today is that many of the actual teams are running part of their Olympic 2020 trials.
Yeah, it's
so
a bit
there's
different.
Lots of sub-pops for every nation, isn't there?
Indeed, and Canoe Slalom is one of those sports where you do have to start the process quite early, because with other sports you peak for the Olympics. You're still doing slalom, but there's a massive technical aspect to it, and therefore they like to get the teams sorted quite early so they can get drilled in and aim to peak for that Olympic performance.
Raffaele putting together a solid move.
Yeah,
solid
very nice. To the bottom, it's quite easy to get stuck on that last wave there, so he did a very good job there. Nice, 3 seconds into lead.
It's great having a camera on the end, because you can
see
summarise the whole, I suppose, thought patterns.
Yeah, definitely. And we're in a good spot here as well. We're just at the bottom of the finish line, so we can look up and see the actions of the athletes, even after the...
Never too young to start. So we have 18-year-old here.
Yeah. So the Czechs, very good. Czech is a very strong nation of paddlers. Ooh, a little bit sticky through there. Managed to use the water to bring it back. The exit of that up can be quite a tricky one. If you don't hold your bow just enough, it does just flush you off the back. Ooh, a little bit of difficulty there as well.
So that's
again,
they do have cameras on most of the gates, but they don't really need that. So it's not an automatic system. It's actually someone who is sitting by the side, who's normally responsible for a couple of gates, and they work in teams of 2 or 3. So you actually 2 people at least are covering the angles, but there it's no chance. And they press a button, mark down as well, so you're checked. The system's never perfect, but it's as good as they can get with the resources and facilities, but they're always looking at new exciting ideas, which we'll talk about a bit later. He's capping out there.
And the good thing with the video system as well means sometimes you might see penalties coming up after the athletes actually finish their run. Sometimes they watch the video back. Coming in high above that gate there. We've done down moves on that before, but it's definitely quite tricky to overshoot it.
Set up a little higher, isn't
Yeah,
it? I get that's going to be one of the. I imagine you, the locals, will go, haha.
Yeah. Like I say, it's very easy to. Sometimes you can overcook it and just go in a little bit too high. But yeah, it's quite one of those ones where you have to just want to run straight to the end of the stop, otherwise it's quite sticky if you do get stuck in it.
Well, this is more of a learning experience.
Yeah.
If you're in the Czech team, you're damn good anyway.
Yeah, you have to be a very good paddler.
Wojciech Heger comes through, finishes the course.
Would it be?
We're going to see a lot of this young man in the next couple of days.
Yes,
K1, C1.
Indeed.
Tasmania, let's see how he goes. Spends a lot of time living out of his van, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He's got a four-wheel drive van. You want to see him driving into muddy ditches and getting out.
In the middle of a forest, in the middle
Yeah.
of nowhere. Living the dream of an athlete, I suspect.
Yeah,
Well, that's not the dream start, though.
No.
So we're going to be showing you all the runs from the same camera angle, so you can pick up some sort of perspective of the pace.
Oh, that's good.
He wishes he went back to bed. So this is part of the, I believe the Australians were in for part of their qualifications as well for
the Olympics
Yeah.
as well.
So the season's going to run 5 World Cups. There's going to be this week, next week Bratislava, and then in Slovenia. That's a bit of a break. There's a couple more Germany, and then they go to the World Cup final in Prague.
Yeah.
Clearly Germany's not Augsburg, which is been having a major refit in the next year or so.
Yeah.
And then Sail in Spain, 1992 Olympic course, 2009 is going to be where it all happens, because there's lots of qualification quota places available for Tokyo.
Indeed, at the World Champs in Sail, as you say. It's a British selection for the Olympics there also, as well as today. We had one of our selection races last weekend at the 2 weekends ago at the European Championships, with the second being here and the third in Sao later this year. But as you mentioned there are quite a few nations using London as their qualification, so it's quite exciting to see the racing going down this weekend.
Ian Burrows has just seen his mate and compatriot struggle a little bit in the first early. Will that motivate? Because you all have a competitive streak, don't you?
Yeah.
In the Olympics, there's only one person allowed if you qualify the boat, and that's the big challenge at first.
Yeah. A little
But
bit
I'm
sticky
sure
there.
they want to win while everyone's doing their best.
Yeah. You want everyone to do their best, but as you say, you also want to be in that top position yourself. So it's one of the difficulties with the sport, because we're one of the few sports that does only have one place per category in the Olympics. So it does make it a bit difficult when, as a guy myself, consider the World Championships a much more difficult race, due to the fact there are so many more competitors. When you've got nations such as Australia, Britain, where you've got such strong paddlers where you've got multiples of them on the podium.
Let's concentrate a minute for Ian. He's a little bit. He was 4 seconds back on the clock. What can you see? Is it's clean. What's happening?
I reckon there was a little bit of time in that first stopper. He managed to hold the height, but it does. If you do get caught up in the water at all, you do lose a bit of time. Possibly just a little bit under the bridge. He was quite, I wouldn't say cautious, but definitely.
He's dropped another second back.
Yeah, that's quite nice into the upstream there.
Can he pull a bit? It's going to be difficult here.
Yeah.
Hi Ali, if you're watching, brother's doing yourself proud. There's quite a few families, brothers and sisters, are top international paddlers.
Yes, yeah. And it is amazing to see, like you say, lots of families involved in the sport. And as you mentioned before, like you see as they go through the generations as well.
So next to go, Casey. Casey has been around many years for the USA, looking to go for his 4th Olympic. So much experience. Was the poster boy in many senses. It had a life-size cut-out model in Deep Creek. I remember going there and became incredibly famous in the local village in 2014.
Yeah.
But
that was nice.
He put so much into this course, mentally and physically and everything. So anyone deserves a good run.
Yeah.
It's Casey. He goes in and out. Sometimes he's one of the top 2 or 3 in the world, and then for a couple of months he goes quiet.
Yeah.
But he has the ability to, do something quite special.
Yeah. See some very good bits in this run already. He's only just down on the splits. That's good to see.
When he's on the start line, his heart's about 120. Coming under the bridge, he's up to about 140.
Yeah.
Maybe go a little bit up towards the end. It'll reach about 170. His max, he said, is about 185, but he won't do that on a 9-second course today.
Yeah. Oh, a little touch.
Speaking about his heart rate yesterday, that's why.
Yeah, I was going
bring
to
it
say
up.
fresh. Yeah, it's quite interesting speaking to athletes about their heart rates during races and things. And I was speaking to Adam Burgess the other day, and he was saying his heart rate's up before he gets to the first bridge, and then it seems to just hold there all the way down.
Let's see what Casey's doing now. He's really gritting his teeth. Oh,
yeah.
that was just in. You have to have the whole of your head and a little bit of the boat at the same time.
Yeah.
That looked like that was okay. And I guess here the secret is to really jump over the stoppers.
Yes, it
Easier
is.
said than
Keep
done.
it dry, almost certainly. It's definitely easy to get a face full of water on this course. There we go.
2-second penalties. Is he going to be competitive?
It's going to be just outside, but into third place. We have to see how that gets on, but starting to get a few more close results coming in there now.
Thomas Ragg.
Another good Czech paddler.
30 years old, but seems to be around an awful long time.
Yeah. I mean, a lot like you see with with quite a few of these Czech paddlers and others, you'll see them come through at quite a young age, and they'll stay on the international scene going through until.
Stan Jezek was about 55, I think, when he
Yeah.
late 30s. Is that a touch?
Yeah.
You're allowed to punt off the wall, aren't you? But it's
You
becoming
are.
expensive now. 6 seconds of touches in Rio last year, the last World Cup, the World Championships rather, made the final, came 8th, I understand.
Yeah. Remember, it was in Rio where Joe Clark finished 4th with two penalties. Put down a flyer of a run, but it's the thing, the penalties do prove costly.
Well, they're not too bunching at the moment. If we look, we've had 7 athletes down of 30 gone, 30 to go.
Yeah.
Rafa Ivaldo is in 98. 3 seconds back is Liam Jegu Island with Casey still coming up. Well, I'm Matthew Layton with Gabby Rich, who has joined me today. And you've been down this course hundreds of times.
Yes.
Does it become easier with more practice?
It certainly does. I mean, I moved on here late last year, and there's certainly moves in this course that I used to really struggle with when I first moved here. Now they're just second nature, which is quite nice, because then your focus becomes more on your development of your performance in paddling rather than putting all your energy into trying to perform certain moves. Just quite, it's a nice feeling.
Becomes an automatism. And Mark Delaney, Daniel Goddard, they've designed the course.
Yes, yeah. So
Have you spoken to them? What was their ideal? What were they looking for?
I haven't actually spoken to them personally about the course, but I've been coached by Dan in the past and know Mark quite well as well. But yeah, I know Dan loves a few good moves, so I'd say it's quite tame for Dan today.
Cedric Joly, former world junior champion, and did incredibly well. He's been on the senior C 3 or 4 years now. Obviously one of the real French flyers, coming through from the legends of the past.
Yeah. A good list of results next to his name there as well.
Spent a bit of time in Australia this year.
Yeah, he did quite well out there as well, taking a pole with him just there. And then being in Prague once and just seeing this young French lad paddle around on his own. Quite like to just go out there and train by himself. He'd always smile and say hello. That's one of the other beauties in sport, is you can be anywhere in the world. You see someone else in a slalom boat and you're instantly,
We have so much in common, I guess.
Yeah.
Places you've been, because there's not thousands of courses, are there?
No, there's select. And people definitely, London, quite often people say that London's one of their favourites, and you definitely get drawn back to certain courses, Prague being one of them. It's a super fun technical course.
It's crazy, isn't it? Here's Cedric Joly going down, which, let's see how he is on the split. 3 seconds off stage, still in the pace. However, the times are going to come down, aren't they? They really are going to come down.
They are. We'll see quite a drop as we get into the higher qualifiers.
So the water, talk to me about the water. I believe it is pumped up. There's 5 huge pumps. 3 of them have been turned on today.
Yeah, and with the pumps you can also put them on different levels. So sometimes they'll have 4 pumps on a lower level and sometimes 3. When they have a race week, they usually use the same 3 pumps on the same level so that the water stays consistent throughout the week. Because sometimes if you do have different combinations of pumps, it can slightly affect the water, which when you're slalom paddling, you're very fine-tuned to what the water feels like.
Gregor Hedwig from Poland, ranked number 14 in the world. Polish have a reputation of being extraordinarily fit.
Yes.
They call it Krakow. They have heating, don't they, in the winter?
Yeah.
They have a
little
not cheating
top.
because you can get down to minus 30 degrees, but they seem to be able to go up and down all day long.
Yeah.
Well, and early we've seen
setup.
several of the athletes have a 2-pointer on gate number 5.
Ooh. Yeah, quite a few taking it quite tight there, and it's when you've got the little wave off the back of the move 2 to 3.
Piccadilly, they call it.
Yeah, Piccadilly, indeed. But yeah, you can get a little bit. There's another little wave off the back just below it, and you can get washed quite easily with that. And especially when you've got the upstream afterwards, you want to make sure you're getting the boat tracking back to get into the upstream nice and tight.
Now it comes for the stagger move. They were predicting last night that a few athletes would struggle a bit.
Yeah.
No one's really messed up so far.
No, it's not. It seems okay so far. I suppose with the C1s especially, it might be a bit tricky because you don't have that other blade to, especially the second and third gate there, to drive through over the stopper. We'll get a lot of the kayaks later on, especially in the kayak men tomorrow, just powering through there.
So the plastic bollards, they actually turn the water down, so it's a couple of centimetres deep overnight, which is good to save energy.
Yes.
Gregor Hedwig here, he is not going into first. Let's see what he can do with his 4-second penalties. So it was a fast, pure time.
Into third place. There's still plenty of opportunity to slot in between first and second there. 3 seconds difference still.
Those were the 10 athletes that had to go through the second heat.
Yes.
The next 20 athletes are the athletes who are qualified from the first heat. If you want to know about the future of gates, this is your man, Jean-Pierre Bourget, from Senegal. He's doing a project at the moment for the ICF, where he's looking to come up with some interesting plans. They're talking about putting flashing lights on the gates to show the public when the actual line judges are actually calling. But a great competitor. He's not putting down the level of paddling in Senegal, but his only real competition is his brother, who can really push it forward. Looking forward to hopefully taking an Olympic place. If you don't have one of the 11 qualified places from SEO, there is a possibility to go through your continentals. So it's not an insurance policy, but I think the Africans is not the strength of depth at the moment, so that might be an option as well. But certainly looking to do something very dynamically. Engineering, aeronautical student as well. Let's see how it can go.
I guess there'll be a link there with the studies and what he's doing with the poles. But I remember the ICF putting out a while ago about any ideas towards new gate systems.
I think it's the best way is to say, listen, community, any ideas, we'll take them on board.
Yeah. Ooh, a little bit stuck in there.
Stuck in there. Spends a little time training out in Augsburg.
Yeah.
Real traveller. He lives in different countries.
Yeah.
One more year left of his studies.
I think that's one of the things you definitely do see is a lot of people travel a lot with their training in slalom. There's a lot of time spent away, which might seem nice to some, but sometimes it's quite difficult not to be based in one spot.
But to be fair, you are living the dream.
Yeah.
That's your dream.
Yeah.
One of the most interesting characters on the scene. Swiss Thomas Coquelin. What an amazing athlete. Was in fact a gymnast when he was young, and that's why he has such an amazing power to weight ratio. From Geneva, spends a lot of time down in pole. Oh, that was close.
extending the neck out there. Well, he's picked up a 2-second penalty on gate 3.
Nothing else added. Made a few really good results in the last couple of years. Especially in the Europeans, he does incredibly well. 27 years old now, so peak of his situation. No, what's we feared in gate number 5, they've given him a 50.
Oh gosh.
But he did look, hopefully have a look at it in a minute, but it looked like you had to put your faith in the judge's hands.
Yes, and especially from this angle here where we were looking from behind.
They often have cameras. I was talking to the judges last night.
Yeah.
They work out which are the contentious with. No, Thomas, there's 3 or 4 contentious gates, and then they can switch the actual individual cameras, so they have one looking forward and one coming back.
Yes, yeah. As you say, there's definitely a few gates that will be. Sometimes with the judges, you'll have some sections where they'll have nothing all day, and other sections they will be pretty much, well, be kept busy.
So Thomas Coquelin had he's having a dreadful run, to be fair. The challenge is he knows he's got big penalties. There would be a possibility to appeal against the 50 and say he's just trying to give it all his might, and I guess today it hasn't worked out in his favour.
No, a little bit of had a capsize just at the bottom there.
Well, I think he's expressed his emotions, which is understandable. When you're a top athlete and you don't perform to your abilities, that's the frustration.
Yeah.
Ryan Wesley, the reason that the British trials for the C1 men starts today for selection is that Ryan had a shoulder challenge.
Yeah.
And so they agreed to put it back and say this is vitally important for the Brits to mark points on the first step of 3. It's this, Prague and Sale for Olympic selection. I'll shut up now. Tell me all about Ryan.
Well, I know Ryan quite well. He is my sister's boyfriend, so I spend a lot of time with Ryan. So yeah, I'm a little bit on the edge of my seat right now. Wishing him all the best for today's race. But yeah, lovely guy. He's quite quiet, but when you get to know him, he does start to talk a bit more. Spends a lot of time with Joe Clark. They've recently taken up fishing as their hobby.
Half a second up so far.
Indeed.
Talk me about his shoulder and where's that now?
So he had a shoulder operation around Christmas time, and he's been recovering with that. It was looking really good to start with. Went out to Oz and was back on whitewater a bit sooner than, quite soon. But then had to take it a bit easy from there. But it's looking better now. I think not quite where he'd like it to be.
Today's run, how is it going?
It looks quite good so far. It looks nice and solid. He's up on the time there, which is nice.
So will it be with Ryan? Will it be a matter of confidence, racing confidence, or physical needs to build the power up still?
I think he's definitely a very powerful athlete and he's got the power there. So I think it's just putting the run down and confidence on today's course. So he's looking good so far. That's nice. Just this final move.
Is it extra pressure when family and friends are here, or is it just a nice feeling?
I think it's a bit mix of both, really. I think when you're used to, there we go, second up into the lead. Very nice. See how that fares for the last 17 competitors now. Yeah, it's a bit of a mix, really. I think some of these athletes are just very used to having family and friends out here. Ryan's parents often fly out to watch him competing. His grandparents often there as well, and my sister as well. So I think sometimes it's nice to have familiar faces around.
Let's go for Kirill Setkin, the first Russian competitor. 13 athletes gone, so 18:70 to go. So far, Ryan Wesley, we've just seen, has put down the fastest time, which is clean in 97. I like putting people on the spot. Where do you think the break point is going to be? So top 10 athletes to qualify.
Ooh, that's a good question. I'd like to think Ryan's going to make it in the final. I reckon it's going to be... I'd say 98, 99.
Thomas Kirill is 2 seconds off the pace. He's having a good year in the world ranking in Sale. About a month ago, he was 4th in the final in Po. The week before, he was 8th. So that shows that the Russians, they do have a bit of strength and depth now, and they have a bit of confidence having medalled in the world.
Yeah, it's good to see them. Nice little line on the back of the stopper there through the stagger. It's a bit wider than most, but you use the water and you get a lot out of it.
Still 5.5 seconds off the pace.
I suppose that'll be slightly altered now with Ryan's time. with him being a second up on the original.
So the Olympic course, and it's a great success story. I think it was the first completed course for the 2012 Olympic Games, the first completed venue.
Yes.
And I know it's a special occasion this week, but there's lots and lots of children here, aren't there? It's quite a large area.
Yeah, it
seems to work incredibly well.
Yeah, we're obviously based just on the outskirts of London here, which means you've got many people around.
Let's have a quick look at Roberto Mazzingari. 26 years old, seems to be around forever now. Very powerful athlete. Saw him walking around before 8 o'clock in his own little world.
Yeah, you often do. And you know when it's race day.
You don't go.
Oh, he's got the pizza design on the back of his boat too.
If you look at the back, it's actually quite interesting, isn't it? Because there's a bit of a line down.
Yeah.
Why is that? What is that?
It's the rapid wing, isn't it? So a few years ago, Vida came out with the rapid wing design. I don't see it so much anymore, but you do see a few athletes with it, and the idea is it's meant to shed the water off the back, isn't it, and help you get that boost.
1.7 off. How much local knowledge is important here?
It's quite interesting because you mentioned before it's one of those courses where the water's quite consistent, so you'd almost think that you can come from, even if you don't paddle all the time, you can come and get to know the water quite quickly. But you do still see that some of the locals do. Yeah, got round the gate there. That's the main thing. But yeah, there's definitely some moves that, again, if you repeat them over and over, you can just be confident to take it as
dial
a
them
race. Yeah. I think it's more that confidence more than anything else, just knowing you can get a move without having to think about setting it up.
And consistency is wonderful, isn't it? They can move the bollards, what do you call them, the blocks?
The blocks, yeah, the omniflocks. Yeah.
So they're bolted into the floor and the side. And I understand they're going to be moved around fairly soon. Colin Zingoni is 7 seconds off the pace. That's why we didn't focus too much and knows that he's let a couple of things go. So they're going to, I believe, reshape them when they know the layout of Tokyo. So it gives you local advantage, local athletes a huge advantage. Lucas Rehan, on his day, he can come last and first.
Yeah.
Often, and I've seen him in Prague before as a forerunner, a bit temperamental, and then he puts down a fastest time of the whole day in forerunning.
Yeah, and I think sometimes that can be the case with foreigners, because you don't have necessarily have the pressure of racing. You have got the pressure of everyone watching you, but some people thrive off that, and it's a different feeling to competition nerves. It's quite.
What are your first impressions? It looks fluid to me.
Looks pretty. Look, the boat's running quite nicely. He's doing the necessary bits to keep the boat tracking. But yeah, 2 seconds down, but still in touch.
One of those athletes with a accomplished family record as well, so had been exposed from a very early age.
Yeah, and a lot of the Czechs do. You see that there is.
Most of them, actually.
Yeah. Got quite a few racing this weekend there, and you've got the Yuri Priskovic, Amelie Hogutova, and
This was a father of top paddler as well.
Yes.
Anyway, let's concentrate on Tan, Lucas Rowan, catch it up. So, well, he's 5 seconds back. It just shows that Ryan Wesley, with his clean, straightforward, can you call it a low-risk run?
Yeah, you could say, he just kept the boat moving and just kept the boat running all the way down. Which is a nice smooth run, which sometimes you see people that they don't look like they're working that hard, but if you keep the boat moving, it's surprising what difference it can make to the time.
Denny Gago-Canoe a bit later and see how.
Yeah, ooh. Just took the gate with him there in 25.
He's not going to be happy.
As I mentioned, that last wave can catch you out. It's one of those ones where you have to flick the bow around. And with the gate being where it is, you have to be careful you don't catch it and take it with you.
Name one is more patriotic
than
Smedley. Cameron Smedley. Well, they're also top paddler, but they always do. You know they're from Canada.
Yes.
They're very polite, they're very civilised.
They are.
Oh, let's come on round.
Bit of an over edge upstream there. You could argue that the Scots might argue that the tartan is very much theirs. But,
It's wood chopping tartan.
yes, I say, but I'm sure that the Canadians would happily give the reasoning. Oh, a little bit.
Well, I had to make a plan B, I guess, coming around there.
Yeah, might have lost a little bit of time, but main things mentioned, keep the boat running.
Vastly experienced. He will, I guess, know that it needs to do something.
Yes, yeah. He knows he's lost a little bit of time at the top there, a little bit on the wave just there and with the spin, so if you can keep this bottom half solid and just stay in touch with the time, then...
Just below us is Mathieu Benesch, who is warming up.
Ready to race.
Frantic little sprint. Where is Cameron Smedley going to be on the split? There's a lot of work to be done. Unfortunately today it's not going to happen. There's an 8 seconds hold. With only a 2-second penalty.
You do sometimes see some athletes that can be a few seconds down on the middle splits and just absolutely have a blinder in the bottom half, but
when you're 8 seconds down in a semi-final, that was good, though.
That was good. So nice.
Well, you can hear the support. Go. Cameron Smedley.
Yeah.
You won't really have an emotion. Kasper Suba from Poland now.
Another Polish paddler.
20 years old, so the next generation is coming through. Liptowski, a month ago rather, he came third in the world rankings, so a good start to the year. And in Markleberg, week before that, he made another final. Big expectations.
They look to see some good start lists at both of those races, which is the world ranking races are great to go out and race at just for race experience and
3 seconds on. So the season for a top international paddler can be 11 months of the year, can't it really?
yes, yeah, quite easily. By the time if you're going out to Australia to race up there and then coming back racing a few world ranking races before the international World Cup season and team selections and everything as well, it can quite quickly spread out throughout the year. And quite often they like to get a winter training block in too, so it's finding where you can squeeze that in amongst it all.
And this year, a lot of the athletes have been sneakily, or not so sneakily, spending a lot of time in Seoul.
Yes, indeed.
But the World's coming up at the end of the summer, the European summer. So it's vital to have as much of an advantage, or not disadvantage, as you can.
Yeah, to get familiar with the course.
Why the Worlds are so crucial is that there's either 11 or 18 places available to qualify your nation. Not nominative in the sense that it doesn't qualify you, but it qualifies your nation. Not bad here, coming through.
Yeah.
Moves into fourth. Mikkel Martiken is 40 years old now. Still looks as happy as ever. As you can see, twice Olympic champion. I think he won his first race in '95.
Yeah, quite before I was born.
Olympic champion 17. Back in his red boat. He had a year out of his red boat, but luckily he's come back in.
Yeah.
Well, we have to talk you through this actual race. Coming down Piccadilly, it seems to him and his boat are one apiece.
Yeah, you watch Martigan and sometimes you see that. I think what you see with these top C1 paddlers is they can be paddled basically without the blade in the water, and they just use their boat and their body and the water in combination to keep the boat moving as fast as they can. And Martin's a great
2 seconds up at the moment with Alexander Stokowski, Mathieu Benesch, who are consistently on the podiums. It depends how they see it. Either it's an annoying challenge or it's massively inspirational to see which of the athletes can go and take the Olympic place.
Yeah.
Coming down now, a bit of support here. Some people watching, some people being in awe almost.
Cutting over the top there through the stagger sequence.
As he was 2 points down in the first split. He's given away now the second to say.
Going over the top there. On nice move. Often you'll see people stay out and use that curl, which is basically shoot of water that takes you in, but Martin taking the top line. Nice down. Taking the spin in the bottom. Nice.
Ryan West is looking more and more useful.
Yeah.
So Michal Martin, wait to see him in the final. He's 6th so far with 11 runners to go. We only have Olympic champions in this section of the show. Denny Gago Canoe, Canoe.
It's mistaken.
So he is a Olympic. Once Olympic champion, you're always Olympic champion.
Yes.
He's reigning Olympic champion. Didn't perhaps do what he wanted to do in the Europeans in Po a couple of weeks ago. Didn't make the last 30. I believe. Anyway, he's taken an early penalty.
He has indeed. Just saw it come up on the screen there.
He's known for really looking to make it easy. Puts massive amount of power down.
Yes.
From the Tony Estanguet club of French legends.
And you can tell watching you could say French paddling style, but the French just paddle beautifully using the water. See him there just holding himself on the wave to generate some speed off, which I've seen a few of them do now. Yeah, you can definitely say that some safe paddling from a lot of these paddlers so far, just deliberately paddling around the gates to keep it clean, although he has just picked up another 2-second penalty.
6 seconds back.
Ooh, a little bit.
And 5.5 seconds back is the theoretical qualification if all the votes do badly. So we're not going to see Denny Gago-Canoe in the final today. But we're going to see Martin Thomas, who's having a staggering year. He's the fastest to go, so it's going to be so many in-stories, aren't there, to qualifications for the Worlds.
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to be quite... It's always interesting. It's always interesting to see. Martin was over here a few weeks ago training ahead of the race this weekend, and also competed at the British Open last year and I believe won the British Open race.
One of the most interesting characters on the scene. Tall, angular, very talented, temperamental. And Elisegi.
Not someone I'm so familiar with, but recognise the names of most paddlers and see them popping up. But it's quite the nice thing with the sport is you get to know some of the top paddlers quite well, especially being based here in London. You know all the British team quite well as well. But it looks quite composed, you'd say, on this top half. You should see, although he looks slightly down on the first split.
A couple of times come 4th at the Olympic Games. Setting it a bit closely there.
Yeah, see where he's also had some good results just recently at the world ranking races.
Won.
Yeah, very
He
good.
won in Sao, he won in Perth. I think that's where all the energy is going to go this season.
Yeah.
On his home course.
Yes,
It's very light, it floats on the top, isn't it? Some of it's kneeling down. 2 seconds off. Now that's not necessarily a disaster.
No, we're still in. I say as we're coming into this top 10, we're starting to see that there is a bit of a spread still in that top few positions. Holding it nice and tight on the inside pole.
The last couple of bits.
Set. Drawing through.
See where he goes. Well, he goes in the 5th position. Ryan Wesley has qualified.
Be happy with that.
So I'm sure all the family connections are.
Yeah.
World rank number 1, Sidouis Tatsiadis. Just before the demo runs yesterday evening, I was having a chat with him. I said, "Don't you need to go and watch it?" About one of the perfectionists out there.
Yeah.
Consistently medals. As you can see, he has a biggest blade, shortest paddle, but
Yeah.
it works for him. And he talks often about the line, what you want to go is about 3 centimetres wide. And where you want to get the optimal place that you want to position your boat.
Yeah. I see, yeah.
Had success here, medalled in silver
Indeed.
in the Olympics 2012.
I'm quite familiar with the course. A lot of teams have spent a lot of time training here ahead of the Olympics.
You can see in the graphics at Planet Canoe. You can follow us and certainly give us your thoughts on the social media platforms. It's coming in more and more. There's lots of really well put together articles with Ross and Adam and the team, making lots of really interviews when the athletes cross the line. Also personality traits and challenges their athletes having. So it's well worth keeping involved in the at Planet Canoe community. Thank you for doing so. Let me see how he's going to do. One of the world's top athletes, Franz Anton, his compatriot, is current world champion, so there's clearly going to be a lot of competition coming up. Now this is part of their trials as well. This looks a good run.
Good, very nice.
Yes, you know
just in behind them. But yeah, qualified his place as well, which you can see him happy there as he crossed the line. Next up, Adam Burgess.
Put out a cracking promotional video. Invite you to the showman.
Roll up, roll up.
Adam Burgess from the UK. He's one of the 3 real top athletes in the UK. Let's see how his run goes. 45 metres to the first. Would have done it 100 times. Piccadilly should manage to negotiate this well. Keeping on line.
Very nice there.
Very happy at the moment. He was telling me free of injury.
Yeah.
And real aspirations to make it in the biggest stage.
Yes. You can see he's very focused there, coming, looking to the next gate each time.
Where's he going to be on the split?
So he's just,
Slightly down.
Yeah. He's still in touch though.
2015, he had an amazing run until the last gate.
Yes, I remember very well, and I mean, I'm sure he does too.
But that shouldn't go a gate. He knows this as well as anyone.
With this course today, with them bringing the courses are getting slightly shorter, just to try and bring the times down a little bit, and so the finish line is quite a bit shorter than 2015, which also means that they can't do quite as many moves on the bottom drop here at Lee
Talking
Valley.
about the course designers.
Yes, yeah.
Half a second off, clean so far. You can see there's a breeze out there. The gates are swinging a little bit.
Slightly.
Needs to go through the middle. This, hopefully, for the fans, clearly for Adam and spectators out there, stumbling a little bit there.
Keep it nice and tight through that bit there. Which is
safely through.
Oh,
look at that. There's a year's relief.
Yeah, very good bottom section there from Adam, especially that line to the finish from 25.
3 athletes qualified: Adam Burgess, Ryan Wesley, Sinus Tasiadis. Alexander Slavkovsky, 2nd ranked in the world.
Yeah.
He gave a very good report a couple of days ago to Ross, talking about a virus he's picked up, thinks it's water-based, and it essentially just knocks his power out.
Yeah, was it leptospirosis?
I don't think he said he hasn't exactly identified, and he's had the Europeans decided to skip a couple of very heavy treatment.
Yes.
Let's see how he can go forward again, competing for the Olympic place. An early 2-second, that shouldn't put him off.
No, he had a very nice line there, 2 to 3, which possibly might have been why he just picked up that 2-second penalty, but hopefully we'll see now. So
purely fast.
Yeah.
So the crowd's quiet. I don't know about that because there's no threat at the moment. We have on the bank you can't see, so that's the right bank river. There's probably a couple. There's sold out all 4,000 tickets, I believe, for the weekend.
Yeah, indeed.
Here's Slavkovsky from Slovakia, number 2 in the world. After an early blip, looks like solid run.
Yeah. A little bit. So he's still in.
You're not sounding convinced. Oh, that's going to be maybe costly. 2-second penalty.
So see who does in this bottom half. He just seemed a little bit overcautious in that middle section on that stagger. A little bit. There we go.
Well, the clock's in the last second half of the course.
He just
No,
slipped
it's all
off
gone
the last.
wrong. But it's a process. It's a process. He's been unwell,
Yeah.
mature enough to keep it going.
He seems doesn't quite know what to think there. Next, got Franz Anton.
World
as
champion.
mentioned, yeah. Reigning world champion. the titles come up with the 2014 bronze. But
Well, we have to maybe have a word with that. But
yeah.
We know he's a world champion.
It was a spectacular race last year in Rio for the world champs, especially in the C1 men's category.
Well, he's not the biggest build.
No.
He's just built for efficiency, isn't he, really?
Yeah.
Fine photographer as well.
Yes, very good
The wife
photographer.
team. Let's see how he puts it together now. Full of confidence at the moment.
Ooh, he's going to be up on the, I was going to say, looked very smooth on that top
Look at that,
section.
We did a good profile on him on in Sale.
Yeah.
And it was a couple of days before the event. It would help if you medal.
Yeah.
And he came second.
Oh, there we go then. You never know how people will take these things, 'cause sometimes they say, "Oh, we have to medal," and they go.
No,
But
the
the likes of Franz, they can take the extra pressure.
looking good so far. Where's the split going to be?
Yeah, I was going to say it'll just be here. He's still up on the split.
7 athletes to go afterwards.
Yeah.
6 to go rather. Raffaele Valli has qualified, so the second athlete to go has put down the time. So far it looks like Franz Anton, if he can hold this last together.
Held the boat there. Just
So it's a bit naughty really, putting a tricky move at the end when your arms are burning and everything's going wrong.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those. It's quite nice because you've got the option to the spin there. Very nice. And sort of into first place there for Franz. But yeah, you have got the option of doing the spin there, but as you see with quite a few of these C1 men, especially the righties, they are opting for the forwards move there. I personally do prefer the forwards. When you're racing, you'd hope that they're strong and fit enough that they can cope with something like that at the end.
Well, strong and fit enough, no doubt about Luka Bozic.
Yes.
Was also a major champion in the C2.
Yes.
Has to clearly concentrate for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Very nimble, very fit. And 2 weeks' time, the circus moves on to Tatsan after Bratislava. So it's really some of the athletes' favourite courses.
I've yet to race at Tarsen myself, or paddle there in fact. That certainly looks like a very fun course.
Have you been over the first drop yet?
No, I've never
Did you
been.
enjoy that?
Slovenia is one of those places I've yet to actually paddle in.
Absolutely stunning. Anyway, let's concentrate. 1.5
nice.
seconds off the pace. He's held himself up. What happened there?
So he's tried to go forwards there, which I think he might have been the first to do so. Or I haven't taken notice if there's been none before. But yeah, it's quite a tricky forwards move. You saw that with Luke. He managed to control the bow quite nicely without taking on a 2-second penalty. Keeping the boat running through this middle section as well. So he is going to be just...
Well, he's doing rock and roll riding, isn't he? He's really throwing the boat around a lot. 2.5 seconds off. Now, if he keeps that pace, that would be okay, because 10th at the moment is Mehal Mardikan, 5 seconds off.
Yeah. And also, if you're looking at 6th position, as long as he slots in within 2.9. Oh, he managed to hold it there. And through the last gate, he's just getting to finish.
He's to come in less than 100, really.
But yeah, into 5th place and qualified.
So far, Franz Anton, Adam Burgess, Brian Wesley, Silvius Tassiadis, Luka Bozic, Raffaele Valli. 4 athletes to go. Most of them have been world champions.
Another Slovenian to follow.
A few years ago, he was always taking penalties, and then suddenly he cleaned up his act, and he told him, and he became world champion.
Yeah.
I remember speaking to him in the hotel the morning of Po. How are you going? Yeah, fine, I'm going to race on. And then 3 hours later, he was world champion.
Yeah. It's quite surreal in those moments, isn't it?
But he was completely relaxed, chatting over breakfast. Some you leave alone, and some want to chat.
Yes, yeah. Just be respectful to each athlete's processes and.
Bit falling back. Did you know why? Did you see why?
No, I was trying to figure out. There is, it's quite, I was telling that top bit, it's quite easy to lose time. Even just in that very top section, the sprint to the first gate.
There's choices to make.
Yeah, a few different choices of lines.
He's a couple of seconds back. Crucially clean. We'll expect to make the final. Certainly will expect him to make the final.
Yeah.
You can just see the stagger there, how in fact it hasn't been a problem today, has it really?
No, it hasn't. You've seen a few touches taken on there, but no, nobody's been missing any of the gates.
So Benji Savsek now 32 years old, putting together some solid running.
Seeing 2 seconds changing hand over the spot section. He's through the second last gate, he's through the last gate.
Yeah, coming up, should put himself a place in the final. Yes,
qualified for the
yes, he
final.
does.
Just about in there.
It does mean, sadly, we're not going to see Michael Martigan. And Elisegi is now in 10th place.
Yeah.
So Savsek, Ivaldi, Bozic, Tassiadis, Wesley, Burgess, and Franz Anton. Mate Benesh spends most of his winters in Australia, travels with the family. Kind of talented ice hockey player. Let's see how his giant of a man. It's almost unfair. He's got such a long reach.
Yeah. As I say, the ice hockey is quite big out in Slovakia, isn't it?
Yes. 2017 Worlds. He also competes in the wild water. Just to keep a bit of interest in.
Yeah.
But they're both in the same venue. But so far, it seems to be looking good.
He does look quite solid so far. Nice little kick across under the bridge there. He's just, a few seconds down.
2 seconds off, that's okay. If you're going for the philosophy of just, like sometimes I remember he's in his prime, he actually, in the semi-finals, he has to slow up at the end, so it's embarrassing that it's so far ahead.
Yeah. I do sometimes see that in the semis and qualifications especially, where someone will just cruise to the finish. I think we saw a bit of Jess yesterday in the C1 woman category.
But she was saying, wasn't she? She said she just managed to find the right line and just sat back and enjoyed it.
Yeah.
1.95, so coming back a little bit, what we see.
Clean around those few gates there.
Well, really important because Martican hasn't made the final. Slavkovsky, coming back from illness, hasn't made the final. So it'll be a real good possibility to put down some points.
Yeah, and very nice down through the downstream gate 24 there. Which,
there's not much to play with.
No.
Let me see if he goes safe.
He's going to be 8th place. So
no problem.
No problem.
He's shaking his head, but
it's sometimes nice though to just about qualify because I think we're first off in the final race then.
I wonder if it's going to be Sir David Florence at some point. David Florence, one of the greatest servants of the sport.
Yeah.
Multiple world champion, multiple Olympic medalist, and no one works hard for David.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a role model to have around here when you're training. He's just so focused and so committed. He's got 3 young children now, but
father and mother always running down.
Yeah, indeed.
Well, let's see how David, so far, looks like he's on a solid run.
Yeah. There. Very nice. So, always looking. It's going to be up. As I say, is looking close to the split time there.
And if you've just tuned in, I'm with Gabby Ridge from the UK team. 2-second penalty for the C1 men. This is the first of 3 Olympic selection relays. They didn't do it at the national trials because Ryan Wesley had a sore shoulder. They're doing now the last World Cup final in Prague, and then they go forward to Seoul where they have a few more bonus points available. But this is really dog eat dog, 3 top athletes.
Yeah.
1 second back, David, you have to make the final.
I think that's the thing with the C1m especially. It's like you're consistently seeing all 3 of the British competitors in finals internationally, just showing the standard they're
Yeah, he's looking fast, he's looking into
competing at.
It's almost unfair by the IOC to set the rules.
Yeah. Yeah, certainly. See, he's safely
managed
in
to-
there,
managed to
even
come
with,
back.
indeed, even with his 2-second penalty.
So, 1 athlete to go, Martin Thomas. There you can see the crowd. Yesterday they were still out there, but it was absolutely bucketing down,
It
pouring
was.
down with the
We
rain.
had lots of school kids out there yesterday, but they
Not one of them
were.
complained, did they?
No,
just
they
ran
were
in the rain.
very happy. They were all had their ponchos on. There we go, Martin's off. A little bit sticky this there.
Made a couple of semi-finals in the rankings recently.
Yeah. I was saying when Martin was training here before, we were doing repeats on the Piccadilly section, and he was teaching me how to do it.
Okay, second in the Europeans recently behind Benji Savsek, who we just saw going to the final.
Very smooth on the upstream gate there.
In fact, if we look at the results for these Europeans, there's going to be Benji Savsek, Martin Thomas, Sidiris is in the final, and Adam,
Yeah. We've got.
Ryan, David. 7 or 8 of the actual finalists are going to be in the finals of there.
Yeah.
Didn't need to run it, really. So, last athlete on the course in the men's semi-finals, World Cup 1, coming to Lee Valley, Water Centre in the outskirts of London. This is a tongue twister. Where's he going to be on the split? It's either going to be Martin or who's sitting on 10th place, Kasper Stuba from Poland.
Oh, a little bit sticky in just there.
So how much to play with? There's 2.9 seconds to play with. So that's the split we need to look at.
So he was 1.9 on the last split. A little bit sticky since. Let's see, 93.
99.
So into 9th place.
No problem. No problem. There aren't any asterisks next to the names on my screens, which means, in theory, there's no challenges going on.
Yeah.
Well done, umpires.
Yeah.
I think I have a chance to have a look back at the super slow motion shots that the camera crews are really out in all weather.
Yes.
Oh, it looks like, you can see it just out of our picture, one of the huge great finishing boys has just decided to
Detach itself.
detach itself, and there you go, they see
Yeah.
coming down the river.
Just had a little surf in the stopper a second ago, which
Well, that's not a problem because we are going to have a couple of minutes break from the
Yeah,
actual
thank you.
action. So that's the first event of the day. And then we're going to look forward to the women K1. Let's have a look at some of these sleigh mays. Great slamation shots, thank you very much. These are the 10 athletes we're going to be seeing in a couple of hours' time in the final. They're the 10 athletes that competed with the best net times in the C1 men's semi-final. And it's packed with the top athletes. I can't see many who've actually missed out today, not at the top of their game, although there are many disappointed athletes out there. It guarantees ourselves a very tight and open final with 3 Brits in the final, all competing for the first point systems for qualifications for the Tokyo Olympics, providing Great Britain put a boat through. And that's always a caveat. You always have to say providing there's a boat going through. What are your thoughts of that?
Well, we can safely say we've got 3 boats through to this morning's final. So that'll be good. But well, with the C1 men that is. But now we've got the K1 women to go through. We've got 3 strong competitors in the kayak women as well.
And for that, your trials have actually started, haven't they?
Yes. So we had the first set of Olympic trials 2 weeks ago at the Europeans for the kayak women discipline. As well as at senior selection, so that was a few months ago now. And
we'll find out a little bit more of that soon. We're looking at the names of the athletes, how they performed. Kimberly Woods was the fastest, which is great to see. I remember in 2015 being here, and she almost did it, but a couple of the bolts fell off. But we have also China coming in, People's Republic of China, Li Tong. Second in the Asian Championships, which tells me they're just becoming better and better, more strength in depth.
I've been watching some of the Chinese paddlers, and as you say, you've been seeing that they've been coming on quite a lot over the last few years, which is great to see. Spending a lot of time over here in Europe training. Etienne Stott just walking past, giving us a wave there.
Etienne Stott won the C2 gold just in front of us in 2012. If you were here.
I was indeed. I stood next to Chris Bailey, so Tim Bailey was Etienne's C2 partner, and I stood next to Chris, and I was bawling my eyes out in happiness for them, and then Chris was stood there in shock, not sure what to think.
Let's focus on that later. However, it's Li Tong. Let's see how she's going to perform under the pressure, under the lights.
So a solid start for Li Tong here on the Valley course.
What are the challenges when you have a double-bladed paddle coming down a stagger section as you're doing now?
I think with this particular sequence, I think you can go in your favour, particularly over, I can't remember which gates they are now, but where you've got the stopper just coming out of the upstream, coming across and cutting across the stopper. It's quite handy to have the 2 blades to power through it per se, or you can use the water and go around on the back of the stopper. As I mentioned, the C1s, they all managed to handle it quite well.
This is the first time you've been down this course, so you do not have a reference. So far clean.
She will be setting the first time for the rest of the class to challenge.
Last year competed in 3 of the World Cups. Only made it in the heats, 36th in Liptovsky, 50th in Krakow, but made it through to the final in the World Cup last year in Augsburg. Ida Novak, father president of the other club in Ljubljana. Very, very, very timid, shy, but really has come into her own in the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's been really good to see Ida putting down some good races the last few years. She paddled very well in
last couple of years. Really well. Last year, clearly, there's problems with the extreme weather conditions. But sometimes comes up short at her own course, which is all about nerves. So we use her on the commentary, which is great. But 2 seconds faster at the moment than Li Tong.
Solid top par. Had dinner with Ida the other evening. It's nice to have a catch up when you've got the internationals across here in your
same generation.
Soil. Yeah, same generation too. So she's a few years older than myself.
And how was she before the season?
I think she was. She, as I said, she put down some good qualification runs in Po. Wasn't overly happy with the whole process and was just thankful to be on team, I think, after a bit of a difficult selection process. And I think then you realise it's not always easy to get on the national team, so then being able to race at on the world stage is just you become very thankful. And
we're seeing really the top of the pyramid, aren't we? We're
Yes.
seeing the real
yeah,
world's best athletes who happen to perform under pressure. Often a
Indeed.
month ago for the.
yeah.
How many second levels like yourself are? The hundreds or sort of teams
Quite
or?
a few. There's a considerable amount in Britain. We just keep going strength to strength. I think. I think a few years ago we'd have been way off the likes of Fiona, Mal and Kim, and now you get a lot of the athletes are kicking at the heels, and it's great to see how much there is that or less of a divide now from the top paddlers.
The chasing group.
Yeah, indeed. So I
Elena
think it's
Apple.
good. Another very good young athlete coming through here is Elena.
Well, her father a few years ago was saying, "Yeah, our daughter's coming through well."
Yeah.
And then she has done finally. She's
She
now 20 years old.
Yeah, and she's doing well in the C1 as well, and to make the kayak team this year, it just again shows the strength. Very nice under the bridge there. Picked up an early penalty on gate 5, but in touch with Ida's time.
So 30 athletes going to be going. This is going to be as open as the C1. Coming down the course, only the 2-second penalty so far. How do you see her run?
Strong. Very good at just getting on the front and paddling, keeping the boat running. Again, still in touch. She's dropped a little bit of time since the first split. Let's see how she gets on this bottom half.
So no reference time. But it's often said that the K1 women and the C1 men
Yeah.
are
Similar.
relatively compatible, so let's see how that works out.
Yeah, so we're looking at
95, 96.
95.96. It'll be so we're looking at 108 at the minute. And there might be I think there might be a bit more of a spread with the kayak, and it'll be interesting to see as we get into the top half of the qualifying runs.
It's all about placing your eggs in different baskets. What I'm
Yes.
talking about now is Nuria Villarubla, one of the
Yeah.
world's most talented, dynamic and friendly C1 paddlers. But it's not bad in K1 either. She's had
No.
really... I talked to her last year and I said, do you have ambitions there? And he was like, I suppose if you have Mylene Shuro, the Olympic
Bit
champion
stickier.
in your team, and you want to go to the Olympics, I suppose you have to be realistic.
Yeah, most certainly. But at the same time, there's nothing saying that you can get people coming through throwing a spanner in the works.
Exactly.
I think that's the good thing again. It's
Quite humbling when you walk through town with Nuria. We did a piece on her last year, or the year
Yeah.
before, in Sale. You
Yes.
have to walk through the marketplace to get to her, and it takes about an hour.
Yeah.
She stops to talk to every single person.
Yeah.
So born and bred in Sale. Qualified teacher, by the way, really giving it a go.
Yeah.
See where she's going to be.
Yeah, so again, it's one of those places I've yet to paddle myself. But
You
it
have a
does
lot of
just
fun.
look,
Shallow and narrow and fast. Nothing similar at all, as I can't see, to Lee Valley.
No.
But once you've done Lee Valley, I think you're vaccinated against the other courses. 5
Yeah.
seconds back, unfortunately. And was she taking wide angle for any particular reason?
Like I mentioned earlier, I think sometimes there's quite a strong jet of water on that curl, and if you have enough angle, you'll like run beautifully into that upstream. But if you're just slightly underturned, it will just shoot you to the bottom of the eddy. Or a little bit of a paddle around that last gate.
Oh, she's stuck there.
Yeah,
That's going to be really painful.
Just a little bit of time there, just getting tight now through to the finish. Here we go, Marie Lafont from France. She made semi-finals in semi-finals.
Well, she's taken over the mantle of the top boat since
Yes.
Emily Fair decided to hang up her paddles. Although I talk to Emily quite a lot. She's never going to go away from the game. She's always going to be back at some form.
Yeah,
Olympic
this-
medalist here on this course in 2012.
Indeed.
Gold medalist.
Yes.
And then did it again.
Champion.
Well,
all up on
3-2
this-
up. So she's put some
Yeah.
really good performances together. Not all the time, but she's really.
Not sure if that was. See what the judges think of that one. But yeah, you've got the likes of Camille Poujon and those, again, some youngsters coming through that are, I mean, like I say, for these top athletes, it's good to have them coming through because it keeps you on the top of your game.
So far, 2-second penalties. As we all say, the strength and depth of France with their, I suppose they have the natural advantage of believing in themselves,
Yeah.
and plus the amazing facilities, plus the great legacy.
Yes, yeah. France is a very strong paddling nation. We've got very good depth in the French system.
Be interesting to see how the Olympic course for 2024, close
Yeah.
to Paris, how that comes forward.
Yeah,
So,
it'd be great.
Mr. Stange and his crew are doing a sterling job there.
Yes, it's good to see Stonga on the, well, head of the board for the Olympic Committee.
President, no less.
President, yes.
Anyway, here we go. Let's see. Is she keeping in this? Penalties are creeping up now. 6 seconds penalties. Alina forward 1:08. I doubt significantly that's going to go enough.
No, unfortunately.
Next,
Noemi Fox.
Noemi Fox. See how she's coming. Been on the senior team for 2 or 3 years now.
Yeah.
Doubles up, C1, K1. Mum is the coach. Let's see
Yeah.
how she goes today.
A little bit stuck in there, but keeping the boat running. Yeah, as you say, a very, very strong family of the Foxes.
How does Noemi's style differ and similar to Jess Fox, obviously the big sister and the top athlete at the moment?
You can see that they're both like, well, you obviously are up on the time there, which is good to see from Noemi. But both are very much on the front of the boat, very focused and constantly driving. See there.
If you look at the focus of Richard's eyes,
Yeah.
it's not surprising. What's great watching Noemi when she's competing, her biggest fan is always Jess,
Yes. Yeah.
which was no civil rivalry at all, I understand.
Yeah. No, it's fabulous to see. I actually got into paddling myself with my older sister, and as you say, we were each other's biggest biggest fans, you could say, in the sport. I actually really miss paddling with her now, and she's keeps saying she'll get back in a boat, and I will get her back in a boat very soon.
We have an appeal. What's her first name?
My sister, sorry, Alexandra.
Alexander, come back.
Yes.
Well, Noemi is putting down a solid run. So far, only 5 athletes have gone down, 25 to go.
There we go. She kept it nice and solid through there, keeping it. There we go, nice and clean. Say,
Right.
don't speak too soon.
So far, provisionally in 4th place. And to read the hand signs, Ros Loris.
Another
She was
Australian.
not complaining yesterday, but she had 4 rounds.
Yeah, quite a few.
This was, poor thing. Had the most amazing boots. These are bright,
Yes.
sparkling blue boots.
Yeah, we're appreciating, as well as we call them wellies here in Britain, but the gum boots, as they call them, out in Oz.
Back to full time. Had a couple of seasons in the winter when she was helping out a lot, but now really completely focused on performing at the best of her ability.
Yeah, and you can see where it's, and you saw her selection results this year, so it paid off. A little bit of a stretch there to reach the gate. Looked.
And she said on a personal basis she'd like to do some advertising. They have a with Jane from the Cook Islands. They've rented an apartment for the summer in Sale, and they have a spare room. So if you want to get in touch,
About, yeah.
there you go. Anyway, let's see how the run is so far. 4 seconds penalties.
Let's see what that fares now on this next split. She was just down. Ros was one of the athletes that came over yesterday. Oh, it's taken another one there.
Stuck 2 seconds. Sorry, one of the athletes who
came over to the Slalom Spire stall here at London yesterday. We've been getting some of the female athletes to come over, and if anyone's around would like to pop over, then please do. But yeah, it's just an amazing initiative created by Ailey Gibson.
It's not at all against the men, is it? It's just
no,
to
it's
bring
not
out
at all.
to maximise the potential and opportunities of women.
Yes, indeed, and that's why I keep saying it's not against boys participating at all. It's just that you see there is quite a big or lower participation level with girls, all age groups throughout the sport. So just trying to increase that.
Ross has an older sister who's an Olympian with a medal. Amelia Hilgertova. See how he manages to put down a run. You don't mess with Amelia on the water.
No,
when she's doing her border cross Canoe Slalom.
Indeed.
Canoe.
So she gets
very dynamic paddler. Often bruised, but never worried. But also putting down some good results in the actual slalom category.
Yeah, so
where the money's earned.
Fresh senior European champion just a few weeks ago in Pro.
Didn't she look delighted?
Yeah, she did. It was just so lovely to see. Like, she set down a really good race for it near the start of about halfway through the finals. And yeah, just pure delight in her face. She'll be racing this afternoon in the extreme slalom as well, so she'll have very tired arms.
Are you racing that?
Yes, I will be indeed. So
I believe that's the first time here.
Yeah, first one in London. So I automatically qualified through to the qualification round, the head-to-head rounds, as the home nation presenting the World Cup. It gets given 2 wild cards per category, so the men's and women's.
Amelia Hilgertova, we'll talk about that in a minute. Amelia Hilgertova is 4 seconds up.
Yeah, looking very smooth through the top section on the course.
So what has she done differently? She's picked up right lines.
Yeah, I think, like I say, but I think that there's a big difference on London between just guiding and actually pulling, and you can see where she is driving the boat in a lot of those moves, which makes a big difference. It adds up over the course of the run. There we go, into first place.
Well, there's confidence sharing from an athlete on top of the form. How they put the boat? Well, I wonder if she has finished, because the big finishing boy has gone away.
Yeah, I think it's just after the finish.
Okay, Lucy Badu. Again, another top French paddler who's been on the scene many years now. Very discreet, but certainly puts down some good runs. So 8 athletes have gone, 30 in total. So 22 to go. At the moment, Amelia Hilgertova, who we've just seen, has not taken this quarter part, but he really put down a solid run. Yeah,
a little plan B spin there from Lucy, which is better than missing or touching a gate.
The water here is nice and clean. It's not naturally clean.
No.
What do they do? They put
I compare it to a pool, but it is sometimes nice to have some clean water to paddle on.
So you're talking about chlorine?
Yes, chlorinated water.
The water's in a loop, isn't it? So
yeah.
I guess with obviously it's England, so it's always cold.
Yeah.
But if it does warm up there, you have a lot of evaporation to put more buoyant.
Yeah, and it's all in a pool or pond, you could say, or lake at the bottom of the river, and it is drawn up and pumped up onto the course from there. But because it's a stagnant bit of water, it can very quickly get quite. In the summer, when like you say, when it's hotter.
We're not ignoring you, Lucy. There's 5.5 seconds off the pace.
Yeah.
So the first 3 athletes came through below 1.6 off Amelia, who's the fastest so far. Solid run, just 2 penalties off.
Yeah. 1 penalty shown there on gate 8. Going for a spin on this bottom section. Oh. Nice and solid through that last gate.
Theoretically in, but almost certainly not. Next to go, Mallory, who wasn't happy yesterday.
No, not happy with the first run, but pulled it back for second runs. And see how she gets on. this
Been
morning.
really, really stacking up the championships and the medals
nice.
and the victories in the last few months.
Yeah.
Second at the Europeans and first at the Europeans.
Yeah. I think she was quite happy to come back from. She was overall pleased with her selection races, but
She's
she
leading, I guess.
often, well, with the Europeans now, it puts her back in the game. But it's hard to say. You can't predict it really.
1.8 up.
But Mallory does often perform very well on the international stage.
She just manages to control
Yeah.
whatever emotion she needs to put out there,
Yeah.
and is a world champion,
Yes.
C1. And she was, back in the day, I think at 12 years old, she was pretty much the youngest ever senior. You see photographs have been floating around since 2004.
Yeah. She's been in a boat for quite a while now. We had a picture of it just the other day, one of her first races. Nearly 3 seconds up there. And very good for Mallory at the moment. But the thing is, you watch Mallory and she just looks like she's cruising down the course, but she's got a lot of
finely
power
tuned
behind those
athlete,
blades.
long,
Yes.
long angles.
Yes, very uses the length of her arms and her body in the boat. Especially in the C1, it's incredible to see how she does, like I say, utilise her length.
But this is going to be a qualifying run.
There we go. Easy. 4 seconds.
Well done.
Very nicely done by. And Kira and her boyfriend just on the bank there.
There's 2008, 2004 Olympic champion, Elena Kaliska.
Indeed.
She is, I'm not sure, she might be the senior representative here at the moment.
Yeah, she's been on the scene for
A while.
quite a while, yeah. Multiple Olympic medalist.
Always great, always there, always a real champion.
Yeah.
And always, I don't speak any Slovakian, and
No.
her English is slightly limited, so it's not as much communication as we like, but she's always gives you a smile.
Yeah, I was paddling yesterday doing some sprints in my plastic boat, and she was said hello. She's very friendly, and a great role model for the sport as well.
So, Olympic champion 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Slovakia's obviously doing something right, because Martin was Olympic champion 23 years ago.
Yes.
But we have Jana Titova coming back to racing.
Yes.
Having a time off to have a baby. It's great to see her back.
It's very good to see her back on the water, sort of racing at the Impro a few weeks ago as well.
Oh, she's stuck there. Is it polite to mention the age of the lady? I think it's 47 years old, still performing at the peak. It's inspires a few.
Indeed. As I say, it's one thing we want to encourage is actually it's one of those sports where experience almost outweighs
Power.
and often. So I mean, as Alina's just showing us now, it's still a very, very competent paddler. It's amazing to see her race.
So we're not going to be seeing her. There's an asterisk, so we have to see what comes off there.
Yeah.
Yasmin Schomburg is a world champion
Yes, I believe so. And bronze just at
Same.
the European Championships.
and has really had a big adventure in the last year when she's come into the C1.
Yeah.
Which is really, not sure yesterday went exactly how she planned, but she put some great results down there. So that's again accepting that Ricky Funk is on fire.
Yeah.
Really desperately wants to go and put the chance up in. Anyway, Yasmin Schomburg, a particular style. She always looks in control.
Yeah.
She's not the most powerful, but knows exactly what she wants to do with the boat, the body, and the paddle.
Yeah, and that's where it's before that sometimes using the water really does go in your favour. You can't always just power through it. Just drive nicely across into the gate 13 there. See if she gets on with this stagger. So she goes. Yeah, a lot of the K1s cutting over, nice line over the top there between 15 and 16. Yeah, a lot of the K1s choosing that top line.
Well,
5
5.2 off, which in theory is not going to put you out of the game.
Yeah, but Mallory was about 3-4 seconds up at this point. And that's the thing, once someone goes into lead, they might be 5 seconds ahead at the end, but this goes off their middle split times also.
So you're saying she still has a chance?
Yes.
There you go. It's not full. The fact it's sold out, I think if I was in charge of the marketing, I'd have probably sneaked in another couple of thousand people.
Yeah, I think the same.
Goes into fourth.
Yeah.
The difference in England, which is fair play to them, is everything is, it's not an argument, it's just health and safety, move out the way.
Yeah.
So if this was in a European country, you'd pack twice as many in. And obviously the Olympics, when they had the bigger resources and massive stands. Camille Prangent, who didn't make the team a couple of years ago, then stormed back and with amazing results last year.
Yeah.
Part of another dynasty, the Prangent dynasty. When you go to pole, every fourth or fifth athlete happens to be a Prangent or help pole.
Yeah.
21 years old now. Older. Fourth was the best result last year in the World Cups.
Yeah, and she was also under 23 world champion as well, just last year in Ivrea. She'd done a very good run in the finals. But I think that's the one thing with Camille. She's quite a small paddler, but it just shows that she actually performs very well on some of these bigger courses where often the smaller paddlers get pushed around. But she manages to use the water very well and power through, but yeah.
Out in Australia doing well in some of the world ranking events.
Yeah.
Took out a second in Penrith in the Oceania Championships. In Penrith, in Australia, there was the Australians, and was it a week later there was the Oceania?
Yes.
And then if you look at this year, Senegal, a month ago, she won there, so full of confidence.
Ready ahead of the World Championships later this year. So quite a bit down on that first split there, so we'll have to see how she does in this.
Good angle there, really coming close. Right, it's going to be difficult. Top 10 maybe. It's 12 seconds back, but there's still 18 athletes to go, and there's a big experienced names who know the local course. Not what she wanted to do.
No.
Karina Kunle, double world champion, sorted out her nerves a couple of years ago, and is a real contender. Physically built for the sport.
Yeah.
With really great levers, great power in the shoulders.
Gone for the short sleeve carrick this morning. It's the first we've seen.
Yeah, but these Austrians are tough.
Yeah. You see Connie paddling in some insane conditions, often breaking the ice in the winter to get on the flat. And in one of Connie's old boats currently.
You are?
Yes.
You're so well connected, aren't you? You really are. There's no one. If there's, tell me someone you don't know, and I'll find something about them.
Yeah.
So did you have to buy it, or did she give it to you?
Yeah, no, I bought it from her last year. So I went out to Bratz for a training camp and broke my boat, flew home, and then it was repairable, but I'd borrowed a demo boat while I was out there and fell in love with it, and then I had to just get one quick ready to fly out in another week's time. And Connie was like, "Oh, I've got one for sale." So I literally flew out without a boat, got to Bratz, it was there waiting for me, raced in it at the European Champs 3 weeks later. So
I think that speaks volumes about the community.
Yeah, no, it was fab.
But so far the run, how do you see it today? It's clearly a little bit back.
Yeah, a little bit back. It's looking smooth, but there's a little, you can just see where there's like little bits of time. Like I mentioned before, it's one of those things in London, you can get held up quite easily, and each time you do it can bite into that race time.
It's a few tenths, because it's quite it's a demanding course.
It is.
There's no way you can sit back and have a bit of relax.
No, and it's like, we'll see tomorrow when Joe Clark races, but he just lifts himself over the water, and it's incredible to watch. But yeah, into third place, it's still, as we mentioned, Mallory's still got quite a fair lead there. So she's slotted into third just behind Emily. Luca Jones, who's fantastic.
That'll always be there. Olympic silver medalist. Well done, Luca.
Yes,
Coached
indeed.
with Campbell Walsh, who's again an Olympic silver medalist.
Yeah, Olympic silver medalist and British.
Legend
Yes, indeed.
on his mountain bike. Let's see Luca, who's debating and still doing a bit of time on her
Good
C1.
save there. Oh, spoke too soon.
Yes, what happened there?
So she just took a little bit of a low line out of the upstream, and if your bows get pushed down, it's very hard to hold it across there. And then you've got that little tricky wave just afterwards. You want to be pointing bows down through there.
I was reading some stuff about her the other day. She said she didn't like the optimal condition.
Yeah.
Dropped a couple of kilos and put on some strength. 4
She's
seconds
very-
off, so it's not a disaster. She must have lost 3 or 4
Quite a
seconds
bit.
in the tricky section.
Yeah, so just keep it together now. But Luca spends quite a bit of time over here training in Britain. She loves Nottingham course, and again Campbell quite familiar with Nottingham. Yes, they just
It's a
last
real
weekend.
hub, isn't it? Sorry.
Yeah, it is. Still got a lot of paddlers based there, just because it's a very accessible course, and Nottingham's just a very nice city to be in as well. Spend a lot of time up there myself.
See how she's going to be on the split. 5 seconds, so needs to really make up. Well, that's dropping a bit
Some
low.
time there.
That's a bit sneaky, isn't it? Putting
It
the
is.
gate a little bit further up than usual, so you might get dragged low with the eddy.
And it is one of those gates where if you're not tracking into it, it's very hard to keep it driving in. Nice little spin there.
How many different types of boats are there on the scene?
There's quite a few. I think I'd say Luca's probably in a KP fins there. Quite a few of the international paddlers at the moment are in KP fins. I know quite a few have transferred over from other designs. Myself, I'm in a Salto, but just recently the Salto 3's been released.
And it's often the athletes who design them will have at least quite a big input. Let's not ignore Eliska Mitalova, 20 years old.
Yeah.
Again, Slovakia team.
Yeah, raced with me in the finals last year in Slovakia.
And she is second in the 2017 Junior Worlds. But in Slovakia, it's they have the couple of courses which are a long way away. Liptovsky in the mountains.
Yeah.
This is not really similar
course.
to the.
Bratislava.
I remember going there in 2012, 2013 to Bratislava, and then the last drop was just a lottery.
Yes, yeah.
I think they've calmed it down a bit since then.
Yeah, I remember I heard tales of the drop at Bratislava a few years back, where it used to be quite a challenge when it first opened. It's definitely been tamed down a bit since. One of the first international courses I went to paddle at, and it terrified me. But
that's nothing compared to the drop at Tatsu.
No. No, I've got a lot more better with drops and
I
height.
think you athletes have come down and day in, day out in Lee Valley, where there's 18 cubic meters per second, and it's relentless. I mean, it's in a control, not being silly, it's in a very controlled environment, isn't it?
Yes, it is, yeah. And as you mentioned, they do change the course configuration, but quite often stays quite similar. Like the bottom drop hasn't changed significantly for quite a few years now. The middle wave has changed a little bit over the years. It used to be a stopper. I remember back in 2012 it was more of a stopper than a wave.
Eliska, well done.
There
It
you
shows
go.
when we don't commentate, you do even better.
Yeah.
Jess
No,
Fox,
Jess Fox.
bit of an ankle strapping yesterday. She tried to take out one of the bollards.
Oh yes,
And,
I did see. Oh, I've done that many a time.
Oh, really? They said, are you worried about it? Nope, first time I did it, so I'll never do it again.
I remember doing sessions on the bottom drop and doing it once at the start of the session, thinking, no, I won't do it again, and then same again 5 minutes later. And as you say, it does take the impact on your ankles. Oh, cutting it a bit there.
The business plan, that's close as well. The business plan, I think,
Yeah.
yesterday was just to qualify through
Yeah,
in the first round. And she's one of those athletes that does have an extra gear, or probably
she
two,
does.
plus a motor, plus
Numerous of them.
a pedigree that's second to none.
Yeah, cutting it a bit tight there as well, but in touch with Mallory's time there, even with a little bit of time lost in that top section. Yeah, again using that wave, just running into the upstream. See where she's probably been a little bit more cautious now.
One of the great ambassadors for the sport. She occasionally skips an event to do some IOC duty.
She's just really, really great. She's so encouraging to paddlers coming through in the sport, and will stop and say hello and speak to anyone.
Let's see where the split time is going to be. Well, in touch. There's no benefit of winning the semi-finals.
No. Some people like to be in that top spot, but often it can be put a lot of pressure on in the final one.
Can you tell when you're watching it go down, we're in the presence of greatness?
Yeah, it's just the composure. You can tell it's just she knows she doesn't have to, there you go, into second place.
So, well, hypothetically not, but almost certainly should qualify. So Kajel, again, been around an awful long time here. Consistently finalists. You see most events, she's there or thereabouts.
Yeah, certainly.
And the world rankings so far this season, first in Solkan and first in Tatsan in the last 6 weeks, which builds the confidence. And then in the world rankings, she made both finalists in Penrith.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but there's some Slovenian team of all the men and the women have all had photographs, profile photographs taken when they had a bucket of water poured over their head.
Oh, I see. Oh, for the media.
Maybe.
Here.
Yeah. Really, when you not here, but when you see their profile photos of the Slovenian team, some bright person who probably didn't have to do it had an idea. Let's pour a bucket of water over your head. So if you're in the same nation watching, the great Peter Kauser, I think some of it must rub off. They seem to have such a feel for water. She's not a big athlete. A translator, by the way, so he speaks every language.
Oh. I suppose it's again one of those things. Being an athlete, you do you often learn quite a few languages, and it makes sense to make use of it for work as well.
Today it's a struggle.
Yeah,
it is a struggle because the 10th athlete is Luca James, who's 8 seconds back. That's not going to hold, but she was 5 seconds back. Has experience before on this course.
Just trying to think, Claveris would have been the 2012 Olympian.
That's correct. 7.79. Mallory Franklin, Jess Fox, Alicia Mitalova, and Claudia Zolinska.
Yeah. So she, as I mentioned before, one of the athletes that's recently transferred to one of the Gala Sport boats, which previously near Zigzag.
So why is that? Is that some commercial agent offering millions if you switch? Or
I'm not sure. I think it's just personal preference for a lot of athletes.
Well, there's good support.
Yeah.
See where it is on the first split. Yeah, it's really it's filling up. My views are you get more people in here, but there's a couple of natural banks on it, where natural-ish, where people can sit and have a really good view of pretty much the second 2/3 of the course.
Yeah, it's quite good having the banks there.
So the design is they took a field essentially and they said let's put something on it.
Yeah.
And then they've expanded the wonderful facilities. So I guess what do you have in the main building?
So in the main building we've got the terrace bar and cafe, and then the main cafe as well. So you've got the terraces, the part outside. So
is that subsidised for you guys?
Yes, we do get as discount. I'm actually a staff member as well, so you do get a slight discount there, which is quite handy because you do spend quite a bit on drinks and whatnot.
And then you have the full physio and workout, changing and stuff.
Yeah, so with the British canoeing side, there's a gym facility down there. There's the team area and a physio. I don't myself get access to the physio and things, but
Claudia Zolinska's put down a cracking time.
Yeah, 3rd place, so we'll have to see how that.
Vicky Woolhart again knows how to win at both C1 and K1.
Yeah.
all levels. None of the Red Bull athletes, I suppose it's not surprising because it's based in Austria, but a Red Bull essentially means that you have been picked out by their team to be the ambassador, which means you're not only a top athlete, you also have a personality that appeals to their branding.
Yeah.
But they rarely have more than one per country.
No, it's usually one, and it's usually no more than one per kind of, as a sport.
Discipline, class,
So even within kayaking, I think it would cross over also with sort of whitewater kayaking, everything as well, because they want to keep the. I suppose they want to. It's not something they want to give out to everyone. So.
But if you are a marketing person with a bit of money to spend, canoeing, I think it's really coming to its own. Because it's a proven. It's now going out on several international TV. Multimedia is really going up there. And you have about 2 minutes to really focus on your brand in a clean, I'm not being commissioned, by the way, but in a clean environment. So I think all fair. And you can see the Jaffa, who are one of the major sponsors of the UK team. They're really doing well. Vicky, 5.5 seconds back as we speak.
Yeah, and a little bit. That includes a 2-second penalty and just a little bit sticky around the upstream just there. No, still, as I mentioned, just a few little bits where it's getting a little bit caught up. And then they're going for the spin on that bottom move.
There's this panting a bit.
But very physical course.
Difficult to know. Moves into provisional 10th place. The females are much better than the males at retaining their thoughts. I'm sure they had the same thoughts when they gave the line.
Yeah, you've seen quite a few of them quite calm, but definitely that
it's only external
thought process.
Veronika Votova, one of the great helpers from the back office in the Prague.
Yes.
Always there.
Yeah.
And not a bad paddler as well. She often does really well in the slalom cross.
Yeah.
She's racing this afternoon. Solid competitor. English vastly improving as well from year to year.
And again, when you're travelling as much as some of these athletes are, you do pick up quite a bit. I will say I feel like a bit of a cheat when I go away, because even when I'm not very good with my French at all, but when I do try, they'll always resort back to English.
It is the universal language.
Yes.
The key difference is that you don't have to be perfect. So with 200 words, you can put your thoughts across, whereas in French it's all about it's a criminal error if you make a slight pronunciation.
And that's my biggest downfall. Both my sisters are pretty good. I've decided that German will be my next venture.
Well, not bad. Veronika Votova, 2-second penalty, game number 13. Bundle of energy, isn't she? Really forcing the boat forward.
A little bit sticking in. Stuck there.
So we've been watching this now with 20 athletes gone. Where would you say the keys are for if you were coaching, if you were on the loudspeaker for the next 10 athletes, what would you say to them?
I'd probably say that, because quite a few of them seem to be focusing on the key moves and delivering those quite well, but the time seems to be lost in between those, sort of on the stagger sequences and things, just keeping the boat up and running and driving. Trying to drive the boat over sort of the small waves rather than getting stuck and held up in those.
Devil's in the detail.
Yeah, and like I say, and that top sprint as well seems to be.
Mallory Franklin is in the final, and Eva Tochel is again another top paddler. She broke through with a couple of victories 5 or 6 years ago, and has been there or thereabouts. She doesn't have as many podiums as maybe we'd have thought 4 or 5 years ago. But again, she's fighting for the position. 27 years old from Ljubljana. In 2 weeks' time, the circus moves over to Ljubljana. If you have a chance, it's one of the. I'd recommend it. Ljubljana's a car-free city centre. Absolutely stunning.
I'd love to go.
And the course is a feeder off a big reservoir. So we had a few challenges, but. Hopefully, I was speaking to Ando yesterday, and he said that everything's looking good this year.
Yeah, that'll be good. It's definitely one of those places you'd love to go and race just because of well, just to be in a beautiful country.
If you like trees, you can't have any better.
Yeah.
So how's she going at the moment? Eva Tetchel is the 21st competitor to go down.
Yeah, she seems to
Mallory
be-
Franklin has
There
qualified.
we go. She's in
1.5
touch.
off, which is good. So far, it's Franklin Fox, Wilitska, Mitlova, Hilgetova, Kunle,
Taking a touch there.
Appel, Schomburg, Novak, and Vicky Wolfhard is in 10th position. And she is 7 seconds back. So Eva, providing nothing really dramatically goes wrong.
Yeah, she has picked up a 2-second penalty since that last split time. But let's see now, she's just coming to the finish line, so 1:04. It's going into
4:50. Let's see, she go into
Good
third place.
place.
But it's an asterisk.
yeah, asterisk next to her name.
Anna Sitila, when she was 16 years old, competed on this in the Olympics.
Indeed, yeah. It was quite amazing watching her competing because, like I say, 16 years old, she made the semi-final, and when she made the semi-final, she was absolutely ecstatic just to be there in her first Olympic Games, and then, yeah, she's just gone strength to strength to strength ever since. Ooh, what a fiery athlete. She picked up a 2-7 penalty on gate 3 there.
I think it assumes her history, which is Brazil, the samba country, so she looks to throw things around. But 7 years now, 8 years now being on the scene and improving all the time. And medal a couple of times last year was in the C1.
Yeah,
which
she's
is
doing very well
great
in the
for confidence.
C1.
4 seconds off. Needs to hold it together because there's all the next 6 are medalists of the Worlds, I can say.
Yes.
Definitely one not sure, but the others all performing at the really, really top level. So we're looking at Anna Sitila working her way down the course. Gabby Ridge has just told us that you don't, Claire, you clearly have to nail the key moves, but you need to really keep the concentration on the important stagger.
Yeah. And actually, ever watched this? One thing you do notice in London is it's quite easy to start sliding around quite a bit. And so yeah, keeping that boat tracking down through the gates is really quite important. Squeezing in to 24 just there. Hopefully getting her boat through.
This is going to be close. Is it going to be enough to come in? See on direct.
I'll have to look. 10th place.
No, I'd like to bet, unfortunately.
But it means Claudia Zielinska books her place into the final.
For Poland, say Great Britain, Australia, Poland.
Yeah.
Next to go, well
Jana
done,
Dukatova.
Jana Dukatova.
Brilliant paddler, been on the scene again for quite some time, and as you mentioned before, just recently been out to have a baby, and it's just awesome to see her back on water now. And
If you want to follow someone on social media, she really does document her trials and tribulations, and she's actually becoming quite good at putting them together.
Yeah, she's got a really good YouTube channel. It's really good for young paddlers as well because she's got quite a few sort of tutorial videos on there. Speaking up.
Etienne Dye for the men who's been putting something together in the last couple of weeks, which is really good. So yeah, a lot of the athletes are waking up to the possibility of there's a lot of pleasure, and I think for some of the top athletes there's certainly enough to there's money out there.
Yes, yeah.
It's starting, isn't it?
Yeah. And the other thing is, it's like there's not loads of. It's a good opportunity because there's not loads of resources and things online, and so if you can be the first in there to do that kind of thing, then well, you can guarantee people will be going to your site for it. So
7 seconds off.
yeah. Oh, it's just
Bit of rowing.
Yes. Yeah. Using a bit of time into upstream 20 there. As we mentioned, that little stopper can be a bit of a...
But everyone has their own objectives, isn't it? Some might be just to put out the first race of the season, others it's the highlight of the whole year.
Yeah.
Some it's the highlight of the whole career. Imagine on the Olympic course, a semi-final.
Yeah.
Which there's pretty much, not everyone said it's their favourite, but everyone said it's up there. And what I take away from this is it's It's a fair course, so there's no water swells. It's everything you'd want.
Yeah.
And Fiona Penny, is it her 18th year now?
Yeah.
I don't know, mother and tax me if I get it wrong, but certainly many, many years. One of the great diplomats of the sport as well.
Hello to Maureen. She'll be watching from home today.
Sure.
Fee, such an inspirational paddler. She's been amazing for me coming through. I lived with her briefly when I first moved up here, and she's certainly again a very good role model.
And if you have a problem with your boat, she can fix it.
Oh yeah, just last week I had into resealing my tail, didn't have the materials, and I said to her, can I buy some of you or whatever, and she was like, I've got a boat this evening, I'll do it at the same time.
Fiona Penny is putting down a solid run, although she would expect to come through.
Yeah.
At Planet Canoe. Let's hear your thoughts. There's real power in this young lady.
Yeah, very strong paddler.
From Scotland, which many of the top athletes, you're from Wales,
yeah.
but many of the top athletes from all parts of Great Britain. 3.6, that's okay. No, that's not okay.
Oh, Coffee. Bit of a head dip in the water there. Looked like she actually hit the floor when she went over.
There is a home pressure syndrome. When we look back to Rio at the last Worlds and Po at the last Worlds before that, none of the homegrown athletes in the Olympic disciplines actually medals.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure.
No, it's not the day. And this is part of the selection as well.
Yeah,
She has done Olympics. Let's hope it's a fair competition, but not today. There's going to be some. She often smiles, but we know it's not smiling from wind. She had a tough last few months as well.
She has had a very tough month.
Mylene Churro.
Again, another mother and paddler.
Olympic champion.
Olympic champion.
But moving into 2016, she just had that focus and confidence that she was a lot. Even Jess was in her shadows.
Yeah, and again that was quite soon after. Cause, just the other day, it was actually her daughter's 6th birthday. And they had cakes and whatnot in the cafe here at Lee Valley.
Did you give her a discount?
I wasn't I was working that day, but they gave us the leftover cake, which was not very good for my race proportion.
No, you athletes can take what you like. 1.79 seconds
so
down at the moment, very much as it's touch. It'd be great to see her on there. So far, we do have 5 or 6 athletes left to go. Who's qualified? Mario Franklin, Jessica Fox, Kolia Zuinska, Aliska Minatova, Eva Churchill is qualified, and hopefully next. Amelia Hilgertova's looking at it.
Yeah, and there's about a 4-second gap currently from Mallory's leading time.
Mylene's a big year, culminating in her home course.
Yes, she has indeed.
Was that a hit? Or was it the wind blowing around?
I think it was the wind.
3.7. She's playing too closely.
Yeah, it'll be close. See how she does in this bottom. Again, it's just that keeping the boat dry and driving. See where she's at on this bottom section. Going to spin.
99 needs to come. What's the gap between first and 10th? No, it's 5 seconds to play with, so it might be close.
7th place.
Well, we don't know.
So
not qualified yet. Amalia Hilgertova, sorry, is just qualified. And then there's Mylene, there's Karina Kunley. And next on the way, water, is world champion here, last time she ran.
Yeah.
Katerina Kudjova.
A little bit sticky in that first stopper.
Well, that's just giving away 3 or 4 seconds and hit it. That's terrible.
That's the difficulty with that one. If you do get stuck in there, it's very hard to keep the bows on the front and keep the bows down. And around gate 6. Getting a nice run through into the bridge there. See where she's at on this first split. So she's 7 seconds down, so she's got quite a lot of time to make up. Got quite a few of the quite a few paddlers warming up down the bottom of the course now.
Well, finals will start in an hour's time, so there's no point in going off. Everyone has their own routine, don't they, really? You can see the split, Mallory, Franklin, Katerina Kudyova. We saw her really being tangled up, coming down Piccadilly, number 2. They're taking away too much now.
A lot of work to do. Nice and tight. Oh, keeping it clean around there. Let's see if she gets on this bottom half. You see Maggie there getting coached by the little one.
on the sideline. No, it's not going to happen today, unfortunately. No. Yeah, it's great. The whole team are with Mylin.
Yeah, but that means that Mylin's now qualified for the final.
Yes, there's a
thumbs up from the coach.
Hubby says yes.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Stephanie Horn, German origin, Italian future. Been Italian for quite a while now. Great to see her. She's probably one of the slightest paddlers in here.
Very small but very powerful paddler. You always see her driving.
You have a link with her.
Do I?
Yeah, she always used to bring her sheepdog down. I understand you were you the Welsh under-14 sheepdog champion?
I was indeed. My original sport of choice, sheepdog handling.
This is where you have a dog and you whistle and it goes and rounds up sheep.
Indeed, and then you direct the sheep. You have a course to navigate, funny enough, through gates, and then at the end you have to shed the sheep and pen them. So yeah, it's quite a bit different to what I do now, but it's quite. Again, you get to see a lot of the world doing that.
Gabby Ridge, sheepdog champion, canoe champion, and great commentating, so thank you very much. Stephanie Horn is working her way down the course. She seems to have must have been listening to when you were talking about the don't waste your time around the stagger section, because that's when money changes hands.
She's picked up a 2-second penalty on a bow there, but she's got time to play with. But yeah, she's a very, as I mentioned before, she's a very
that's not what you want to do.
A bit stuck around the
She's very what time?
But yeah, very not aggressive paddler. She's always driving and always paddling, and you see where she just drives through the water.
Well, that's a stressful run, but there's the smile that takes it all.
Yeah, good to see a smile at the end.
Well, how do you sum up Ricky Funk? She's just the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Her strength to the weight ratio is
incredible.
It's like it should be defies gravity.
Yeah. She just seems to glide on the water, but
even we did a profile on her in the gym, and it makes lifting tons of weight look easy.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's watch her. She's known to have speed in between. Often picks up an early 2 and then comes and
just blasts it for the rest of the course. Yeah. I mean, sometimes that is the case. Sometimes an athlete will pick up a touch early on, and it just seems to put a new new level of focus, or create a new level of focus for them.
So how do you see her? How do you see her run unfolding today?
It's very smooth so far. You can definitely see where she's got that focus in her eyes. She's looking to the next gate and she's powering on. Yeah, Ricky, it's as you say, she seems to always have another gear. She hasn't seemed to put that in place just yet. Keep it nice and solid, but
obviously in the back of the mind is the big battle that's going to come with the other Germans to hopefully go and experience an Olympic.
But yeah, she's in touch with that time of Mallory Franklin, just under a second down.
And the proportion of finals medals she makes is I think it must be almost Yuri Piskovic is the reference clearly, but she must be second to none.
Spin again there on the bottom. Quite a few going for the spin and being quite high on that bottom move. And again, quite a few. I think that's one thing that you've seen with some of the local athletes is they hold that inside blade through the last gate there, whereas quite a few of the internationals sliding out. Next
no pressure,
we've
Kim.
got- Yeah.
Sorry,
Kimberly
father's
Woods.
watching Kimberly. Kimberly Woods,
Indeed.
age 23. I remember commentating her when she was 16 at Cardiff,
Yeah.
and then you saw there was a fiery young lady there.
Yeah, I believe she got a medal in the C1 at Cardiff. That.
You wouldn't want to buy the boat afterwards.
Oh, actually, there's a few World Cups in Cardiff.
It's always windy there.
Yes, always very windy.
But here's Campscape. Nice colour boat.
Yeah, it's nice. She just recently got a new boat, but I think she's racing in her other one today. Same
And
colour.
she always keeps you on the edge because you don't know if she's going to break the world record or get a 50.
Oh, look at that. 1 second up. She did have a very good top section there.
And good cheering there. The crowd are pumped up, obviously. Why not for the local athlete?
Yeah. Yeah, Kim's looking very good in the water.
That was almost Joe Clark-esque because she was
Yeah.
on the back and said, "Go round, please."
Yeah.
But she's looking strong, Michelle.
She is looking very strong. She's always been a very, very good, strong paddler. Yeah, especially like I say, with it being Olympic selection year, all of the teams are looking to be right in touch with the Mallory's time again there.
And the crucial is just
Little
to
bit
make
there.
it through to the final, isn't it?
It is. It's a little bit of time, around 20 there, but
Come on, Kimberly.
keep it nice and solid. As I mentioned before, as you can see, where she's driving that bow over.
Knows exactly where to land as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So far looking good. It is a debate whether Karina Cunliffe is sitting in 10th at the moment. Last competitor down in the K1, and
Right into 6th
well,
place.
I
So
don't know if she's happy, but
she's in the final. I think that's
that's the first part of the contract fulfilled.
yeah.
There's Jazz Royal. She's got a new
Yeah.
company, hasn't she?
She is. She's been doing
What's it called?
quite a
Wonderful Posters or something?
bit. I can't think what it's called. Perfectly Royal.
Perfectly Royal, which is
Yeah.
about if you need any printing done with your
Yeah.
boats or anything, she's the athlete to go to.
Indeed. So she's
Mentioning her
got
because
very
she's
good
obviously
with
a good
Yeah.
paddler before.
Yeah, she was many good international results herself. But yeah, I've just recently had some stickers made up for my boat. Always very good service from Jazz. Oh, there we go. Slalom Aspires, young girl with Slalom Aspires top on over there. But yeah.
So sorry, I cut you off there. What was the picture showing? I mean, you can't tell me. These are the 10 athletes that have qualified for the final. A split of 4 seconds. Eva Churchill looks dangerous. She had a 4-second penalty and still came through, which is good. Mallory Franklin, Jess Fox, Ricarda Funk, Stephanie Horn, Claudia Zolinska, Kimberly Woods, Aliska Mitova, and the rest you will see as Eva Churchill, Amelia Hilgetova, and Mylin Shura from memory. Some big names missing out, unfortunately. Multiple Karina double world champion. But that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
So we're going to give you a few slow-mos to really, I suppose, give you the joy of watching it. Tell me briefly again about your what we saw.
So overall,
No, with your women's stand.
Oh, so the women's stand. So yeah, the Slalom Aspires. So with the Slalom Aspires stand, we've had quite a few of the top female athletes coming over to say hello and meet some of the young girls involved in slalom. And it's been set up by Amy Gibson to just encourage girls into the sport.
says, well done.
Yes, this is. So we're just having a few rehearsals for the live broadcast, this live TV for you. Gabby, it's been great to have the benefit of your inside knowledge.